Yes.
There you go. You're recording.
All right, perfect. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you again for joining me for this here. My name is Todd Schmidt. I am an elementary principal in the Los Alamitos Unified School District. I'm at Weaver Elementary. And I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit with regard to something a little bit geared more towards our for admin leadership as well, of using Flipgrid. I know a lot of teachers use this, but again, trying to find these tools and just kind of making sure that we're sharing our best practices as best we can. I'm really anxious to learn from all of you as well about how you might be utilizing something like this. But I love Flipgrid for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to get into them in a lot, but just again, this is me. This is where I am on the Twitters and Instagram and Voxer. I'm a big fan of Voxer. If you don't use it, it's a asynchronous walkie-talkie. It's a free app. And I like it because you can just sometimes send somebody a question and not worry about texting them at the wrong time or anything along those lines. It's a great way to also just be able to talk back and forth with people. And then that's my school on both Instagram and Twitter. We are the Weaver Whales. So kind of giving you a little bit of a story of where I kind of came from with a lot of this. I'm sure for many of you that are admin or have a leadership role on your campuses that you might be a little bit like this. I know that this has thrown everybody for a huge challenge. I have so often times I can't get ducks in a row ever anyway, but the pandemic and everything we've been doing, just so again, because I know everybody's in a different spot, our district has both a virtual as well as a hybrid option. So I lost about 2/3 of my students, actually not 2/3, 1/3 of my students to the virtual program, and they're there for the year. And then, so I went from a student population of 675 to about 450. And I have teachers that are on here as well as virtual as well. So this has just definitely been a challenge. And with everything kind of going on, I will also say that I am a big, I see something exciting and new, and my staff has oftentimes accused me of having shiny object syndrome, where I tend to see the newest and the greatest and want to just go ahead and try that out or share it out. And how can we, like, oh, this is so great, you're going to love this one. I mean, it's kind of like being at OCCUE and Tech Fest anyway, you see a lot of stuff. So what I tried to do was really kind of, as I was going through my year and trying to figure out how to best build connection, that was really the big thing. How can I build connection with students? How can I build connection with staff? How can I continue to build connection with our families? How can we make even those teachers and those students and those families that are in our virtual program still feel like they're part of what's going on campus? And so really kind of took some time to also know that I really just needed to focus on maybe one or two tools and really get good with those ones, which is where Flipgrid came in for me. And I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I've been using Flipgrid. I'm going to show you a lot of different stuff that we're using. I'm going to answer a bunch of questions, but I also chose Flipgrid because for me, it was an easy tool. It's an easy thing for me to do, and it keeps everything all in one spot. And I'll explain that, sometimes you might find a tool that's really great on your work computer, but then you need access to it at home. And we can do things with Screencastify or Google Docs or using our Google Drive. But Flipgrid has just been great because I can keep all of these videos in one very, very specific spot. Okay, so again, I'm going to go through these. Stop me if you have questions or want me to clarify something, but I'm just going to try to give you guys a variety of different ways that I have been able to use Flipgrid to build these connections. All right, and in a virtual sense or a hybrid sense, has really been utilizing this. So I'm hoping you get some nuggets today. And one of the big parts, again, is that we do believe in that idea of PD for life. So please don't hesitate to call, text, whatever. I would be happy to kind of walk you through what I do with some of these as well. So I'm going to start just by kind of looking at how we do connections, how I was able to use connections with our staff. And, for everything from hearing what they have to say about certain things to how we might utilize it in professional development to even really how it can help build a culture of positivity on your campus. there are a variety of different ways that we can do that. So let me just kind of start again. I'm just going to share a bunch of things that we came up with. One of the first ones that we do, and actually, I guess, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and start right into there. So one of the first things that we did is when we started this new school year, spring was a lot. Last spring was a lot for everybody. It was exhausting. And so bringing them in, I wanted to kind of have a dialogue and a conversation about who inspired you to teach? What teacher was instrumental in your life? Because our teachers are so vital and so important to our kids. I wanted them to just be able to say, you know, who in your life inspired you to teach? And so that right there, that picture right there, that is my 4th grade teacher. I took a screenshot of her from her Facebook page to bring into this, but I was able to do just the entire thing in Flipgrid. And I want to show it to you just so that you can kind of get a sense of what this might have looked like and what I shared out with my staff. I'm also going to give you kind of one of the things, the reason I chose Flipgrid, as well as it being easy for me, but I feel it's really easy for teachers. And I don't want to just give them a tool and just say, hey, try this out. This is great. I really want them to see me trying it. I want them to see me leading by my example, taking some risks, trying some different things. And so again, I'm finding as many different ways as I can to use Flipgrid, and I use it in staff meetings. So this was something that I actually introduced and then had them do it with me in here. So just gonna kind of show this because this is what the teachers would see. So I came up with this thing, okay, what led to your calling? And I got this, I saw this, when did you feel the tug in your heart to become a teacher? This was my opening staff meeting. So we were all virtual. I sent them out and asked them to just give me, what were some of the reasons, what were some of the things that led you to become a teacher? And they had this video to play that had it in there, and I'll show this one to you as well so you can kind of see it. Hey everyone, so as we've been learning from the calling here, so many of us have had a teacher who has inspired us and motivated us and maybe been somebody that we kind of wanted to model ourselves after. And that's who this lady is. This is Phyllis Minner. She was my 4th grade teacher and she was absolutely just a ray of sunshine. She was amazing. She really did inspire me to want to become a teacher. She really kind of tugged at my heart and let me know that this is something that I've wanted to do. And so from the very start, so that is just, again, I'm not going to play the whole video here because you can see them. You can go take a look at it too as well. But these were all of my teachers. They just all responded in a variety of different ways about what led to them. And I've been able to then, the cool thing about Flipgrid, there's a couple of amazing things that I just love about this, is that I've been able to download some of these with their permission and I share them throughout we just listen to a couple of people's. And it's so much fun because it just gives them that kind of that reminder of why they got into this. But I was able to do the whole thing, the video, the screenshot, everything was all done in Flipgrid. I didn't have to use any other tool to create that video. The frame that was there, the picture that was there, the text that was there, that's all able to be done in Flipgrid. And I don't know how many of you have used Flipgrid for a lot of different things here, but they've added a lot of great tools to it. Frames, text, emojis, all these things. And I'm going to show you, because again, I'm just going to kind of put one so you can kind of see how it kind of looks. But this was just a really fun way for me to kind of kick off the year for them and be able to hear what makes them tick, which has really been neat because I've been able to kind of have conversations with them after the fact that I absolutely love. So that's just one that we have there. Another one that I have really enjoyed that has been great is I use it for professional development. When we're doing our professional development, we had we had kind of a scavenger hunt. And one of the things I had them go do, our theme last year was a whole new world. I was new to the school last year. So kind of like, again, what does this mean? A whole new world as we're kind of bringing things together. And so I was able to just share with them how Flipgrid and just had them use it as a tool. So I would encourage you, again, finding ways to incorporate these where you're the one who's leading it, you're the one who's bringing them in, is just a fun way for me to be able to get them to use a new tool and see, oh, wow, this is actually pretty easy. I will tell you one of our ones that really was great. Last year, you know, in the spring, we normally have a big teacher appreciation week. I'm sure many of you do too. And we were able to use Flipgrid for teacher appreciation. And it was so great. So what we did is that I created a big Flipgrid. And what I did is I created one topic and then I just duplicated it several times. And each teacher had their own link. And then what I would do is that the students, I'd give them the link to these. They go find their teacher and record a message. Now, I didn't tell the teachers we were doing this. This was done through PTA. But it was so neat because then on the last day, I gave the links to each teacher's page because so the way Flipgrid works is, for those of you who aren't familiar with it starts with groups. That's kind of your big umbrella. And then you have little topics or little mini umbrellas underneath. So I was able to so I just gave them their own their topic. They got to have the video and they have it all the time of different ones. And if you can kind of see like right over here, we had 429 kiddos or 429 responses. So these videos were just such a meaningful and impactful way for our students to share their appreciation with their teachers. And I'm sure you can think of a lot of different ways where you want to collect a lot of student responses. And I'm going to get to those in just a sec. But even again, building connections with our teachers, this was a great way for them to be able to see the impact that Flipgrid can have. So any questions so far? Can I answer anything on any of these ones that I've shared so far?
I have a question about you develop different links for each of the teachers without their knowledge so that you could then send it to them. Are there instructions on this kind of thing within Flipgrid?
Yeah.
So that
Let me show you, because this might actually make it a little easier. So this is my Flipgrid. This is my account right here that you're being able to see. And so I'm going to come here. Here is teacher. So what you do is, this is again, it is very user friendly and you can't break it. So try it out. Certain things, but this create a group button is the big one. And this is where you create any of these. So this is, if you think about it, this is just your large umbrella, right? So I created Teacher Appreciation Week as the big umbrella. And then underneath it, here are all of the different teachers that I did. Now, this is what I love about this is that, so this is what it looks like. I put in the little pictures. It does it. It's drag and drop. It tells you what you must include, what you don't have to have. You don't always have to put a video up there of yourself, like where these kids are. You can just put a picture if you have one. But when I'll use this first one. This is one of my teachers. So this right here is the video that I created. And this is the little message that, the kids would see. And then, so I did it once. And then over here, you have actions and this wonderful little thing that says duplicate topic. So I duplicated it and it'll ask, do you want just the topic or do you want the responses with it? Well, I don't want other kids' responses. So I would just do, and so if I click on this, I can choose who I want it to. I'm duplicating it to which one of these to go. So it's going to go there. And then I'm not going to actually do it. You just duplicate it. Then I would go in and just change the teacher's name. So it was the same thing. I managed to get through all 33 of my staff members. Once I did one, I had all 33 of them. So you can do the same thing. If you're looking to get this out to different teachers and they have their own specific one. And then each one of these, so this is hers. If I click on the share button, that's the link right here, this copy part that I'm able to give to, that I was able to give to the teacher. And it is, if you'll notice here, there are a variety of ways that you can actually share out a link. I don't know how many of you have a Google Classroom for your staff. I do have one where I share out like documents or updates or announcements or that, because it's kind of all in one spot for me. I can actually share out the link if I want them to answer something. And I can do it in my Google Classroom and it just automatically shoots it out to them, which I love. It's amazing. So that's kind of how I did that one. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers most of it. The other part of it would be then, how do you get it to, like, I'm in a middle school, so each of the kids has like 6 teachers.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, how do you get that to all the
So
students?
what I would do is, if I had, because the thing is also, I included my special ed teachers, I included my speech teachers, I included our psychologists, because they engage with other teachers, other students. You know, they have a variety of, some of them, they might have 2 teachers, or maybe, and frankly, I even let them, that if they wanted to do it for a teacher that they had last year, you know, or the year before. So instead of me sharing the individual teachers, I would just share the umbrella, and then everybody has access to it, and they could go to whichever ones they want. Now, you can also, if you're worried, because middle school or high school, sometimes we're worried that they might put something that we're not really comfortable with them doing. I actually set it up, and you can do it. It's really easy, where it's just content moderation. I have to approve the video if I wanted to before it shows up. It's just, again, something to kind of think about. But they do have some of those safety features kind of built in there as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You bet. So kind of coming back here. So that's some of the ways that we were able to use Flipgrid to kind of connect with our staff. Let me talk a little bit. Oh, actually, I have one more. And again, they're all here. These are all linked in many of these cases. So if you want to actually see or go take a peek at it and then go, okay, how'd you do that? I have other things that go with this. But one of the things that we did is, because the holidays are a stressful time for anybody, and I'm giving a big old shout out to Kathy Kurznowski. And there she is right there. She's on the slide too. We did what was called, she created something called a flip hunt, which is where you create the giant umbrella, and then all the tasks, all the things that you can do are all the little mini ones. So this was kind of a fun little scavenger hunt. And the way that you complete the task is you record a video for each one of these. So this was just a holiday one. I had them doing, I can show this one to you too, so you can kind of see what it looked like. Oops, there we go. So there were, I'm going to show all 15 topics there. So I gave a variety of different challenges, and they could do them. And we did it for prizes. So I had everything. So where they had to tell me, what is the best holiday movie ever? What's the best gift you've ever given to somebody? We had one where they had to do, this one makes me laugh, but it was act out pretending to be excited about a gift you really didn't want. So they had to, again, share, that was how they did the task. They had to they would record a response of them doing that. We had the carpool karaoke, create a holiday greeting, give me your best ho, ho, ho. But some of them were easier, some of them were a little more challenging, but this was just a fun way. And I will say, I did the same thing with my community. We actually did it with families. It was a separate one. The teachers wanted their own. And then I did one with our families that I sent out over the holiday break, where they could complete these as just a fun way to kind of get into the spirit. And it was just a lot of fun. And I will say that our kids were able to showcase this to their parents and look like an expert as well. But again, it was really easy to do. I shared out the giant umbrella link, and they were able to then pick and choose which ones they wanted to do. So this is a lot of fun. It's called a flip hunt. Kathy is the one who created them. If you look at hashtag flip hunt, if you go either on, and Flipgrid, and I'll show you, actually has a bunch of these things already created as well. Or if you're on Twitter and you just type in hashtag flip hunt, or if you follow Kathy, and she's Kersey, yeah, KERSCZI. If you follow her, she has so many of them. And they're just, again, it's a fun little virtual scavenger hunt that you can do where people can record their videos and be able to do it. And you can do it for anything. Teachers can do it as part of a lesson. I just was doing it as a fun way to kind of spread some holiday cheer, because we couldn't do a holiday party this year, so we weren't able to get together. So this was just a fun way, another alternative that we had there as well. Looking at students, finding ways to bring our kiddos into this. How can we do this? I like to just ask them questions and then get their responses. So for example, we did, I don't know how many of you do, or if you're a big fan of the one word, where rather than a New Year's Eve resolution or a New Year's resolution, what's your word for the year? My word this year is forward. trying to look forward and not, look at too many of my mistakes of the past. But I asked kids. And so I threw out the challenge to them and I said, tell me, what is your one word for this year? And we just kind of started it. We're already starting to get all these responses from kiddos where they're sharing what is their one word and why did they choose it? And it's wonderful to hear. And again, the cool part about Flipgrid, you can download any video, you can download a screenshot from it, and you can then import it into anything. So I then take these videos and I'll talk a little bit about what I use them for or how I share them. But it is just so great because it automatically downloads it into an MP4. I don't have to convert it into anything. It just automatically downloads it. So that is a really cool little tool. And again, I'll show you all how this all kind of works in just a sec. My school we kind of do the birthday books thing. We call it the giving tree, where parents can buy their child a birthday book, but we have certain ones. So I was able to use Flipgrid as a way to do mini commercials on each book. And again, all of this whole screenshot that you have right here, all done completely in Flipgrid. I just had to upload or take screenshots of the different book titles. I just download them all as JPEGs and you can drag and drop them into Flipgrid, which is really, really kind of neat. And if you click on that link, you can see the different books, how I did it. But yeah, I just had every single one of these. Actually, I'll show it to you. Every single one of these is one of the different books that they can choose from. So imagine using this with your librarian could use something along these lines. But I really just kind of, again, I'm taking it as the admin, how can I show this kind of stuff off? So these are all the different books that they can choose from. And I just did short 30-second promos, 30-second book talks of each one of these books. And that's and then we share the big umbrella. Here's Giving Tree Books 2021. Here are the ones that you can kind of choose from. All right, coming back here. Another one that we did, I don't know how many of you go, because we are hybrid. One of the things that I love to do just as an excuse to get into classrooms as much as possible, I read a book a month. I have a book that I like to read and I go into classrooms and I read it. This year, obviously, because we have both hybrid as well as our virtual, I have actually read the book online. But I love for them, the book has a purpose because it's usually tied into our character ed, like what is the focus for this month. So this month, we're doing loyalty. We're just finishing up loyalty. And the book that I was reading was Say Something by Peter H. Reynolds. So I'm going into classrooms and reading. I'm also reading to our virtual classes as well. Again, it's a great way for me to be able to get to see the faces of our virtual kiddos. So if you don't have a book that you like to read, I highly recommend it. It is a great, great way. But I do a little promo each month for the book that I'm going to read, telling about why we chose it and whatnot. That way teachers can show it whenever they want. So I just send out the Flipgrid link, or I can download it. So I'll just show you a real quick one. This is our first month. We had our focus was enthusiasm. We used the Pyramid of Success. We use John Wooden's Pyramid of Success. So the block was enthusiasm, and the book was Carmela Full of Wishes by Matt De La Pena. So this is.
Okay, so I am super excited because today I get to introduce the book that will be our first in-class read aloud for both our LoSal at home as well as for our hybrid traditional students. And it's this one right here. It's Carmela Full of Wishes, and it's by another one of my favorite children's authors, Matt De La Pena, who's written a couple others that I absolutely love, The Last Stop on Market Street, as well as, conveniently enough, Love. And I am so excited about our first book that I get to come in and read with you all, because not only is it a book that celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month, which is the month of September. So we're just finishing it up. So I'm excited about that. But it also tells the story of a young girl who shows some remarkable enthusiasm. It's her birthday, and she is really excited about what the possibilities of that are. So I am so excited to share this with you. I am looking forward to coming into classes, both virtually as well as in person, all month long. I really hope you love this one as much as I do. Here is Carmela Full of Wishes. And I also happen to have the author and the illustrator of Carmela Full of Wishes, Matt De La Pena and Christian Robinson, who are going to talk a little bit about the book themselves. So let's hear from both the author as well as the illustrator.
Now, I didn't actually talk to Matt De La Pena and Christian Rodriguez on that one. I found their YouTube videos and I just then linked on, I'll tell you how I do that part too. But I just added them to that so that the kids got to see it. So this was just part of the intro. It's an easy way for me to get into this. The other thing that my teachers have really kind of appreciated with these is they can show them when they want to, as opposed to them having to me do it live. So they have to stop what they're doing. I'm not getting on the loudspeaker. They can work it in to their schedules as well. So that's just a fun way, again, for me to kind of introduce what we're talking about. We do, and this is the one thing, this is kind of the big thing that we've been able to use Flipgrid for, has been our morning messages. I do a morning message every day, and I use Flipgrid for a good chunk of it. I'm going to show you how. And again, I'm hoping you guys are able to take these and go, oh, these are really easy tools that we can use. But I was kind of getting tired of me being the one who was doing the Pledge of Allegiance with them each morning. So I just sent out a Flipgrid to our students and said, hey, here is, if you would like to be, oops, and I have to do it this way because I have to make sure it is a LoSal one. Oops, I have it on, it's for students. All right, I'll show it to you the other way. Where's my discussion? Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Oh, I keep it private because I don't, okay. So anyway, I give them, they get this link and it gives them, I give them the video. The cool part is in the instructions, you can link to Google Docs, anything that you want them to be able to read. So I give them, here's a script, because sometimes kids are like, I know the Pledge of Allegiance, but I would really like to be able to see the words. I give them this whole thing and then they just get to record it. And then I download their video, one kiddo's video each day, and they're the ones who lead our Pledge of Allegiance. So there are a lot of different ways that you can incorporate kiddos into what you're doing. But I do absolutely love this one. This was a great one. And again, I have 102 kiddos who have already signed on to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and they're adorable and they're a lot better to look at than me. So I would rather they love it when they get to see themselves, because I don't tell them ahead of time that I've chosen their video. So it's a big thrill for them when they get to see themselves on the screen. So this is just, again, another little way, very easy to do. I just shared out this link. And I shared it out via email to parents. I posted it on our Facebook page, and parents or kids could just easily go in and record their video. All right, where am I here? Let's get rid of some of these. Okay. Okay, so that's students. Any questions on these ones? Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and move on. If anybody, I don't know if there's anything in the chat here real quick. Were you concerned that a video might not be positive? Yeah, again, and I do look at them. The benefit, I will say, for me, is that I'm at an elementary school by and large, but I will talk about, there were some things that we were, that I did want to make sure, but yeah, you can do content moderation, or as Daryl kind of puts out, you can actually make it public, or you can wait for you to be able to see it. So those are some of those right there. Okay, so connecting with families, this was a biggie, because we're a very tight-knit community, as many of you are also on campuses where that is the case as well. And we did have a lot of our families who were in the LoSal at Home program were feeling very isolated. So we wanted to kind of find ways, since we couldn't do some of the things that we normally do, I wanted to share with you how we kind of came up with some ways to be able to do the things that we've done in the past. So honoring those traditions, those assemblies, those kinds of things that we love to do if we can't do them in person. There is a way, and Flipgrid actually is a fantastic way to make all of this happen. So I'll give you one. For Red Ribbon Week, we do first responders. We thank our first responders. And so we normally have an assembly. We invite them, they introduce themselves. The kiddo gets to be there as well. So what we did is I created a Flipgrid, and I did this for both our first responders as well as for our Veterans Day assembly. I sent out a link. I created a Flipgrid that just asked them, and I gave them some very specific questions, and you can click on any of these to see what it looks like. But I just sent that link out to our families, and they recorded, either they did it with their first responder or their veteran. The other cool part is in Flipgrid, you can upload videos that you've created and just put them in there instead, so you don't have to do it live on Flipgrid. I would pick and stitch and download and put it all together. And in there, it ended up becoming what was our entire presentation. And almost all of it was done by collecting the videos in Flipgrid, downloading them, and then doing the editing as I saw fit in iMovie. I'm not going to go too much into the iMovie part of it, but again, almost everything that we did for all of these presentations is, and I'm going to share our YouTube channel so you can kind of see it a little bit as well, but all of it was done via Flipgrid. So I want to also talk a little bit. I'm going to actually present now because this works a little bit better if I do it this way. When you get students who are getting their teachers for the year, I'm sure a lot of you have done it in a variety of different ways where we post lists, or perhaps it's on Google, or they get it emailed. But we were trying to find a way to get kiddos kind of excited, teachers to be able to share something. So we sent out postcards for each teacher, sent out a postcard. Now, some of it was just a generic message, but one of the cool parts about it is in this bottom part, we took the Flipgrid QR code and we created a Flipgrid that kids could go to and see an introduction from their teacher. Some of the teachers did a tour of their classroom. Some of them just welcomed them to class so they could see a name and a face. But it was such a fun way to start the connections with our families. So much so, this is what we did at our last school. We're going to actually do it this year as well, where the teachers are going to record a video, and then we're going to have this out. And when the kids find out who their teacher is, they're going to be able to go to a QR code and be able to see a little introduction from their teacher. So this was really cool. And when we did it, this is what the kids came to. My teachers recorded their video, and then we had, this is how many views we had when we did this, over 2,000. When this was my previous school at Harborview, when you have 415 kids, to have 2,156 views of these videos. And each teacher, again, created their own little video, what does their room look like? It was really, really an easy and fun way to connect our students as well with our teachers. One other one, and this is where I'm going to kind of talk a little bit, is the morning message. So I do a video each day for our students, and I've gotten to a spot with Flipgrid where I can pretty much get it done in about 15 minutes. And I upload it to YouTube and I'm done. So I'm going to show you, I'm not going to show you this video, but I just wanted to have it on there because I kind of would like, I'm going to actually demonstrate for you because I think it'd be cool to kind of be able to see it and be able to answer some questions and show you some of the tools that you can use about being able to do something like this in Flipgrid as well. So I am going to actually get out of this. And I'm going to come here. Oop, that's not the one I want. There we go. Alrighty, so here's what I do. I have, this is my big umbrella. Then I have a variety of different topics. So I have these videos for morning messages. And what I do each morning, and you can see, I record a video or two for each part of the message. So let me show you how it works, because there are so many fun tools that you can do with this that just, again, allow you to just do something very simple. So I'm gonna, if you go into it, you can record response. All right. Now, are you guys seeing me you are seeing me in the Flipgrid thing? Okay. I can see myself down there and I'm like, I just want to make sure that what you're seeing on the screen is what I'm showing. So this is what a Flipgrid viewer looks like. This is the recorder. Okay. Very simple. There are a couple of great buttons that I want to show you if you're interested in doing this. One of the first ones is just this button right down here, and it says effects. Okay. And I'm going to show you, just because this, again, this gives a lot more, it makes my videos look a lot more professional than they probably should. So if you click on effects, it's going to give you a variety of different options. You can put an emoji. The frames one, if you saw that newsreel, you just click on it, it automatically puts it on your video. And there are all kinds of ones that you can do. You can have a variety of different frames. Here's one in the jungle that you can have if you like. The emoji one is hysterical. Kids think it's so funny. And again, I'm an elementary principal, so the emojis are a lot of fun. They have a ton of these different things. And what I've done sometimes is I've taken, like, I'll take this jack-o'-lantern head, for example, and I'll just click on it. And it automatically puts it up there. And you can resize this. So for Halloween, I did my entire message with this pumpkin on my head. Super easy, very fun. And I just did the whole thing, and you can just click off it and it just stays there. There's your emoji. And you can move him while you're talking if you like to, which again, the kids think is really funny when I'm doing stuff like that. One of the other ones I have, if you want to do text, all of these things are on here. You can change the color of the font. You can change the outside edge of it. You can even change the background. So if I like that color, and I want to change the color to white, and I'm going to keep that red stroke here, and I can just type. And then you can actually put this wherever. You can drag and drop it to wherever you'd like it to be. Now, I will say, and this is just a hard learn, if you do this and you want to point to it, you're not quite mirrored. So a lot of times I'm like, I always have to know which hand I'm doing, you know, to point to certain things. I've done some things where I'm looking at it and I go, yeah, it's right here. And I'm not mirrored, so I'm pointing in the wrong direction. So it just takes a little practice sometimes to go, okay, it's usually the opposite way because they mirror the image. The other things that you can do on this that are a lot of fun, you can draw and have something on here as well. You can have a different board that is half of your screen. So you can have something over here. So if you were describing something and wanted people to see you do something, you can do it that way. The fun one where I was able to bring in all of those screenshots, let me get rid of the board there, where I had, like, for example, the cover of a book is this one right here. And it's called Photo. And it will allow you to add any kind of picture that you want. I'm going to use this one just because it's the first one that I came to. So if I have this one, I can resize it. So it kind of gives it like that news feel where I can move it, you know, and I can move my camera a little bit if I need it so it's not quite as much on there. But these are all, just play with it. That's kind of the fun part, is just being able to bring some of these in and have them in there. I also, when I'm doing announcements, because I'm doing I'm announcing kiddos who are going to be reading the pledge. Sometimes I always want to name the teacher, and I want to make sure I have the kiddo and their grade level. This is another cool little button right here. It's add a sticky note. And this is the neat part, because if I have the name of the student, they're in 3rd grade, and they're in Mrs. Hahn's class. The cool part is when I record the video, they don't see they don't see the sticky note. So I can have it on the screen and be able, and you can have as many as you want and move them around and have them everywhere. I've even done it where if I want to make sure it looks like I'm looking at the camera, I can move the sticky note right over my face. Kids don't see that. So if you're using any of these, if you're using the sticky note, you can be looking straight ahead. Don't forget any of the information that you want to give. So sometimes, again, if you're recording a video, you know it's going to be a little longer. You want to make sure you hit some certain points. The sticky note is a really, really fun way to be able to do it. All right, so that's just recording a video. So that's what I've done with these ones. So when I'm done, so I'll record my video. You know, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another great day. So-and-so is leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm done. Now, for those of you who have not used Flipgrid before, the great part about Flipgrid is if you mess up, you can either delete it and just redo it, or you can stop and you can edit. Now, I'm not going to go into too much on that one, but you can actually, like, oh, I screwed that up. I sometimes will just re-record. So when I'm done and I've recorded my video, I have them all here. And then what I do is over here, so this is the video I did a couple days ago. I put the monkey head on there. Good morning, everyone. I don't have any shame. So this was the one I did here. What you can do is just right here, it says actions. you can download the video. So I download the video. This is my intro. I take all of my different ones that I have and I throw them all, and then I just use iMovie. And so I have, like, for example, so I do my morning introduction, kiddo does the pledge. Then if I have a topic, I'm usually trying to share, we're trying to do our character ed as well as talking about the different, we're trying to incorporate more culture. So I will sometimes have an intro to that, and I just pick and stitch them. I download the videos and then I drag and drop them all into iMovie, put them in a row, and then I download the video. So iMovie is what I use. Other people will use WeVideo. You can even actually, interestingly enough, use Flipgrid to do it as well. I just happen to like iMovie because I can keep them all there together. But that has been one of the easiest ways for me to stay connected with our teachers. And if you want to see the videos that we've come up with and what they all look like, I did put my school's YouTube channel on here. Take a look at them. Again, they're not real fancy. I jokingly will say I try to get things done in one take. I don't really, unless I truly like mispronounce a kiddo's name or lose my train of thought completely, which has happened. I just do one take. I think they don't need to see me be perfect all the time, but this has just been such a great way for me to stay connected with them. I will also encourage, if you want to do something with Flipgrid and you want to bring in, like you might notice we have some videos that we've gotten from YouTube. There are a lot of free YouTube downloaders to MP4s. Highly recommend it, just because it's that way. I do kind of an intro to something. I have found online read alouds. I have found some great videos like we just did. We're getting ready to introduce Black History Month. So I found some great YouTube videos from different people, and I just pick and stitch them. And I'm not, monetizing this. So I just, again, like to just have them so they can have it. And my teachers show it in their classrooms. And that's how we start. That's how we start each and every one of our days. Oh my gosh, I think I'm almost out of time. Wow, that was a lot. So that's what I have for everybody today. Again, this is me on Twitter and Voxer. This is our school. That's my email. Please, I'll even do it with you together. We could do it via Zoom and kind of take a look at it if you'd like to do this. But I hope this gave you just some ideas of some really easy ways to stay connected. And since Flipgrid is free and it's always free, it's just such a great tool to be able to share. So any questions that I can answer? Okay. Well, then, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you being here. I hope everybody else has a great, we just started our second semester. So I am hoping that you all are in it. And again, I wish you all the best. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.